Welcome to Lunch and Learn Zoom Friday. My name is Nancy Gaskins, and I'll be your host today. And today's topic is going to be recession-proof your business and your life. So I'm excited. We've got a guest speaker, one of our very own here today is going to give us a little overview. Next week, we also have a guest speaker, and excited about that as well, because this week we have, this month we had, just like Bruce said, 5 Fridays in the month. So we wasn't quite sure on exactly how we was going to handle that, but it worked out perfectly. So Bruce, go ahead and tell us about your upcoming book, your new book.
Well, I'm excited to contributed a chapter in this collaboration book. A friend of mine is putting together that. This is volume 2. And it's called Make It a Great Day, The Choice is Yours. And my chapter is Got Ants, A-N-T-S, Automatic Negative Thoughts. So that's coming out on Kindle on Monday, and then on Amazon, and they will have the paperback available on Wednesday the 28th. So yeah, it's exciting. So it's kind of neat. The proceeds, everything is going, all the profits are going to this charity to prevent teen suicide. So the publisher and editor contributed their services towards this. So yeah, pretty cool.
Thank you. Thank you. You want to put your link inside the chat? And
well,
Helen, you want to tell us
no
about
link
yours?
for it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Helen, you want to give us an update on yours?
Sure, yeah. So I wrote a compilation book similar to what Bruce is talking about with several authors called Uncover Your Light. So this was a personal stories of women who have kind of persevered and overcome, and just to help shine a light in the world and give other women hope that they're, not struggling through things on their own. There were so many women interested in this book project that it actually has 2 volumes. So the first one is releasing on Amazon October 11th. I'm in the second volume. That was October 18th, which also happens to be my dad's birthday. So I'm going to have to figure that out. Advanced copies are available now. You can pre-order on Amazon, or you can get a signed copy from me. And Olivia Vo, one of our members, may be, I've actually just had a conversation with her, and I've pitched an idea to the group on the day of launching, both days. We're looking to have some kind of a live online party. So I've talked with Olivia about using Restream to do that, because then the advantage is every one of the authors can share that out on their platforms, and we're going to just reach such a wide audience.
Yes.
So I'm really excited. I just actually put that into the author Facebook group, and just hoping that everybody's going to realize the value of doing that, and using Olivia's services. I think it'll be really great. So
Bruce, that might be a great idea for you to pitch to your people as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're having a author launch party on the 28th, but I don't know how they're doing it.
Yeah, we'll find out, because that is an excellent idea. That way, like you said, everybody can be streaming it on their particular social media. Well, let's go ahead and go around the room. Looks like we have a visitor today. Capri Cruz, come on down. Give us a little introduction, how you found us, and tell us about yourself. Give us a little elevator pitch.
Sure. My name is Capri Cruz, professionally Dr. Cruz. I'm a mental health therapist and hypnotherapist, author, and all of that was stemmed from the struggle that I had growing up in foster care. So I'm a foster care advocate, and today I just got an email out of nowhere asking me to be the keynote speaker next April, for Child Abuse Awareness Month. So I just want to, remind everybody that manifesting is real. I was repositioning myself as a speaker. I've been doing some training, but I haven't done any official speaking in years, and nothing significant. And so I guess that's the path I'm going to really pursue now. My love is to help people heal because it's not that difficult once you know the formula. And I really lack community because as a therapist, I'm always by myself. And so I looked on Meetup for other entrepreneurs, and I found you all, and I said, oh, there's my community. There they are.
Well, we're so glad that you came. We're a group from all over the world, primarily Canada and the US, but we do have members from all over, and you never know who you're going to come in here and meet each week. And just so that you know, just to kind of give you our format, the first Friday of the month is spent on networking, collaborations, relationship building. Week 2 is on masterminds, where you can bring your business problems and we can kind of help you flesh any of those out and share our experience and education and insights with you. Week 3, we have a Wealth Builders Club where we learn how to make money and we talk about philanthropy, doing good, making an impact in this world. Week 4 is typically professional and personal development. This month we had an extra week, so we're doing something a little bit different today. So welcome. And where are you at? Where are you located?
Navarre, Florida.
Get out of town. That's my town.
Oh, yeah.
I live here. Okay.
Oh, yay.
Good. Well, we'll have to connect offline then. Claudio, go ahead.
Thank you, Nancy. Sorry, I just had to find my unmute button. So my name's Claudio. My company is called Let's Create Wealth. The name really says it all. I'm all about creating new streams of passive income, requiring little to no effort. That's what I like about them. And I'm in the space of trading in the Forex and crypto markets. The nice thing is I don't need to know a thing about it. I position myself with a couple of companies that do all the work for me, and they just pass on 70% of the profits to me. So loving life, making money while I'm talking to you, and hoping for a great weekend.
Fabulous. And I'm going to give Claudio a plug. In 2.5 years that we have been together, he has grew his business passive income wise all the way up to his account's got about 70,000 in it, and it's churning off about $2,100 a week in passive income. So that is fantastic. So congratulations. He's our poster child for passive income. All right, Jock McLeese, come on down, sir. Oh, Claudio, tell her where you're located.
I live just outside of Toronto, up in Canada, a little town called Bolton.
Okay.
So been up in the Toronto area all my life.
I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. That's a picture of Baltimore Harbor behind me. Not looking out my window, but my company's Enchanted Marketing. I help people figure out how to improve their positioning online and get more business coming in the door and closing it. I take a look at where you are, where your competitors are, what you're doing, and what makes the most sense for you, because depending on the type of business, that can vary. And then also a lot of people don't realize that online you need to respond quickly, and people too often are way too slow, because when you're searching for something online, you're looking for an answer now. And so I show people through some simple methods how to be able to respond quickly and automatically to people and get notified that you have leads coming in, so that you know when they're happening and not getting back to them too late. So that's the key things. I mean, I can go into more detail, but that's the basics.
All right, thank you. Helen, come on down.
You just caught me moving some things around on my desk. Yeah, so I'm Helen Harwood Snell. So as I was just indicating, I've just co-authored a book. And so this is actually my third published book. I'm already an international bestseller and an international speaker. But what I really love to do is write other people's stories more so than my own. So I am a ghostwriter. I help people if they have a blog or a chapter in a book or a presentation, or if there's a whole book that you think you might want to write. That's my expertise, is to actually help you put that into words. I also use storytelling and communication intelligence to help people with websites and social media, biographies, that sort of thing as well. So I am in, used to be pretty close to Claudio, actually, in Newmarket, Ontario, which is also just north of Toronto. But I moved about, I guess we're almost a month to the day, to Smiths Falls, Ontario. So I'm looking out my window at the Rideau River right now, and just south of Ottawa, about 45 minutes.
And if you guys can go ahead and put your contact information in the chat. And Capri, we're a referral partnership network. So we do expect people to reach out and meet one another. And one of the things that you'll find is the majority of everybody in this group is a professional speaker. So we've been on circuits. We also do a lot of summits together. We've got a lot of connections. So this might be a real good fit for you to kind of reach out and get plugged into some of these internationally, so I don't know exactly where until, I'll talk to you a little bit more, but we've got an international reach here. All right, Bruce, come on down.
I've used
Before Bruce starts, Capri, make sure you put your information in the chat. And since you're on a cell phone, you cannot save it. So I'll send it to you by email.
And I've used Helen to write some content for a website that I was working on.
Fantastic. All right, Bruce, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I'm Bruce Barnes. I live near Seattle, Washington. I'm the other native. There's only like 2 of us that were born here. So, but I'm a mindset, wellness, and communication expert. I am just have a collaboration book that I'm in that's coming out on Monday. Yeah, excited about that. And I'm also working on my own book, Mindset Reset, How to Actualize Your Full Potential, which Actualize Your Full Potential is my business. So excited about those things. And just, this group is just phenomenal. I love it. Great people and opportunities.
Thank you. Marcia, come on down.
My name is Marcia, and I'm happy to be here. I have been pivoting for a while now, and before it was going to be spirituality, and now it's metaphysics, mysticism, and those are the areas that I'm really loving. So, and I'm going to start working on my 5th book with Raymond Aaron on Wednesday. And it's going to be about spirituality and mysticism. What am I going to do with that? I want to help people, support people to take their stress and turn it into energy. And so that is sort of what I'm looking at, but I'm not totally aligned yet. So I'm sort of still feeling my way through this. So that's sort of my update for now.
Thank you for sharing your heart, Marcia. We wish you much success on your upcoming pivot.
Thank you.
Barry.
Well, hello, everybody. And Capri, again, welcome. I am your wellness ambassador with Melaleuca. If you don't know us, we're North America's #1 online wellness shopping club, manufacturing over 400 wellness, cleaning, and beauty products here in the USA. We're the original green and essential oils company so that you can stop looking for exceptional products at reasonable prices and just switch stores. We even have free shipping in the USA and Canada. So please schedule a virtual tour with me. In September, it's only $1 membership for a full 12 months, and you still get $100 worth of free products in your first 5 months. I am the Mellaman.
Thank you. Kate, are you available?
Still on mute.
Mm-hmm. I said I was actually mouthing. I'm getting there. I was choking on some pepper. So hi, my name is Kate. And the whole last 2 years has been one of great pivot and amplification in some glorious ways, glorious and fun ways. So I am a healthy lifestyle expert. I'm also a podcaster, as the name of being Living Your Juiciest Life Ever. I help busy entrepreneurs to raise the bar of health, raise their bar on health, and to amplify their light, shine their light, so that they can step into owning their voice, claiming joy, and really feeling like they're in tune and on fire. We're living in a new space now. The old world really wasn't working all that well. And so we really need to step in and collaborate, connect, and do what it is that really fills our heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent job on your new elevator pitch there. And Capri, on the first week of the month, you come in and we'll be going around the circle and helping each other kind of perfect their elevator pitches. So we do that the first week of the month. We've kind of changed our schedule around a little bit, and that's our new schedule beginning September. And also, if everything goes well, Kate will be up in our area. I just found out Capri lives here in my town, so maybe we'll go to lunch while you're in Capri. If you're game, while
That sounds like fun.
we can go have lunch, and we've got a couple of Eagles that live around here, so we can get you introduced to those folks. All right, Jerry, come on down.
Hi, Jerry Lutz with Cost Seg Energy Solutions, coming to you also from Baltimore, Maryland. So about 6 years ago, I went on a mission to group together a assortment of companies that I could represent that were all about helping people and companies save money in a number of areas in which they spend money, and also create some opportunities for folks to earn money. I can sleep at night knowing that the companies that I represent are always going to do the right thing for people and companies that have residential rental, multifamily, and commercial properties. We work in a collaborative effort with the client's tax professional to help them to speed up the depreciation that's in those properties, so they have more deductions to offset their income. They pay less in taxes. We work to help people and companies save in just everyday spend categories. Maybe they're paying a security system contract or a pest control contract. Cable bill will help them to get a better price for that same service that they're receiving from the same company. There's some other things in the energy efficiency sector that we do, and our services are nationwide. We believe that friends don't let friends overpay for anything. Thank you.
Thank you. And that just reminds me, one of our PIG members, Wayne Turner, you guys have seen him on our page. He came into town the other day, and I went and spent all afternoon with him. And he was telling me about this new box that he's now a rep for, that anyway, he installed at his dad's house in Alabama. And it should be saving them, or it is saving his dad about 20-30% off of his electric bill. And what it does is, the way that it was explained to me, and you guys and gals can correct me if I'm wrong, but anyway, let's just say the electricity comes into your box, and it may come in at, let's just say 10, but your house is only requiring 4. You're paying for 10, even though your house is only needing 4. So this box does something to kind of stabilize that and minimize that. Well, anyways, what happened with his dad is the electric company saw that there was a discrepancy once he installed that box, and they came and they thought something was wrong with the meter. So they changed his meter out. Well, the next month it happened again, and they came back, checked, and was thinking, what in the world's going on? The next month it happened again. They came back and said, what's going on? Have you done something? And basically, I guess, tried to think he was frauding, stealing energy or something. Now, we're talking a little town in Alabama, so you can only imagine. And he said, what have you done? And they got the energy guy out there, and he said, well, I've installed this device. And they went in and looked at it, and he was like, how does it work? And he explained it to him and showed him, and he was like, wow. So the energy guy went, and guess what he did? he bought one and installed it and came back later, 30, 60 days later and told his dad, thank you. And so anyways, Wayne, he's in real estate as well as an airline pilot, but down here in Florida, we were thinking about, good grief, can you imagine all of the rental units and just everybody in general? And here in Florida, we had a new power company that came in and took over ours. And so our electric bills have went up significantly over the last 60 days. And so this is going to be a real good thing down here. And it's about $500. But the way I see it, I would recoup that in about 60 or 90 days easily, and you can install it yourself, or you can have an electrician, come in and install it. But anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. And I was thinking of you in particular, Jerry, because I didn't know exactly all the things that you've got in your fire, but I thought this might be a good fit for you and him to maybe collaborate.
Sure could be.
Good
Yes.
grief. I mean, on the commercial side, that could be huge. I mean, we were in his complex where the resort is, and just me and him brainstorming, looking around thinking, would you need one for the pool? Would you need one for, all of these things that they could save, money. I mean, 20% is nothing to sneeze. Anything is better, than paying what we're doing right now. So anyways, I wanted to share that. The other thing before we get started, you might have seen on the website, meetmyreferralpartners.com. I believe I've got everything updated now, and you'll see the pig tab is the very last one. And if you have prepaid your dues, you won't have to worry about it. But if you have not, come October 1, you should see a billing cycle for that. And then it should be automated from that point forward. And then I have updated statement of understanding where it's real clear for everybody to see that. And I did have a request from one of the pig members for her membership. She has 2,000 in the pig group, and I did an estimated payout for her. And it looks like she would have about a 7, if everything goes well. And we can't guarantee income or anything like that. These are just projections. But if everything goes well, our payout for January on that would be about 17.1%. And that's because she was in the pig, which meant she was part of the Novatech, that piece of it. And she was, in the carbon, as well as all of the ones for September. And so just going to put that out there. I did post that so you would know what in the world's going on with that. Let me think if there's anything else that I needed to tell you as far as housekeeping goes. If you have not sent your beneficiary statement in to me, I need you to do that. If you have not sent me your request for whether you want to be on monthly or quarterly, I need you to do that as well, because I'd like to kind of tie up all these loose ends before October the 1st, so we can get October off and cranking. Does anybody have any events or special anything announcements that you would like to share before we get started today? Anything going on? All right. Okay, so today's topic, recession-proof your business and your life. One of the first things that we all know, and many people now around the world know, is how important it is to have multiple streams of income, in particular passive income. When the pandemic hit, people couldn't go to work. They couldn't pay their bills. Can't pay your bills, you lose your house, you lose your cars, you lose all those things. Businesses who didn't have an emergency fund sent their employees home and couldn't pay them, didn't pay them. They had to wait. Yes, there was some government bailout money, but people had to wait on that, and they were freaked out because they hadn't received it yet. And it's a shame, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, that people were happy and giddy and couldn't wait to get that payout, not realizing that's really taxes that are paying for that. So you're still paying for it. So we want to, number one, make sure, which is, part of our wealth building process here, that we have multiple streams of passive income. Then the second thing that we talked about in this group is not only do we want all these multiple streams of passive income, we want an empire of cash machines churning off this money while we're sleeping. The next thing that's important is diversification. In case you haven't noticed, the last couple of weeks have been very volatile in the stock market. I mean, absolutely crazy. The Fed increase hikes again. We're going, inflation has been rampant, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. And it probably looks like with that, from what I'm understanding, they've got a plan to continuously raise those interest rates and to slow the economy down. And then they're going to try and decrease them. Well, usually that never happens. But anyways, that's what they're saying that they're going to do. So everybody, you need to brace yourself and get ready for and set yourself up personally as well as your business for a slowdown in the economy. We want your business to be recession proof. And we'll talk about what that means here in just a couple of minutes. But I just wanted to give you an idea. I ran some numbers on the US inflation calculator. And those of you who are outside the country, you can run your own, but I'm sure it'll probably be pretty close. In 2000, if you bought something for $1, in 2022, that same item would cost $1.72. So that's a 72% increase in 22 years. That averages about 3.27% a year. Now, historically, I used to teach econ. We would always tell people when they would say, how much should we, kind of factor in for inflation? And we always said around 3% a year. That was a good inflationary number. Does anybody know what it is in the US right this minute?
8.
Yeah, it's about 8% right now. So
That's what they say, but it's a lot more
Yeah,
than that, isn't it?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it is. But
540.
and it is hard. That's a hard number to calculate just because there's so many variables that's involved in it. But we know it's high, right? We go to the grocery store. We know we're paying more. We know our electricity is more. We know all these things is more. Well, I thought, well, that's interesting. Okay, so 72% in 22 years. What would it be in 30 years? So we went back from 1992. And that would be 30 years. And that was 111% up. So that would be an average of 3.7% a year over 30 years. So I was thinking it might be less, but it's not. In the last 22 years, it's been about 3.27 a year. Last 30 years, it's been 3.7. So closer to 4% in the last 30 years. So what you want to use, is up to you, but just kind of wrap your mind around when you're thinking about how much money it is that you're going to need for your future to last you. And who knows what the statistic is for our, yes, Bruce.
I was just going to say, this is that, many years ago, a brand new car, they were roughly double the price every 10 years. And I've got a little, a box with a bunch of newspapers from January 1st of, several years apart type of thing. But several years ago, I went and pulled out a bunch of those. I think it was from the like 1970 or whatever, and I started looking at the classified ads for new cars. And it was about every 10 years, it was doubling the price of a new car.
Wow.
I haven't compared it to the recent years and that, but that was really surprising.
Right. And let's talk about life expectancy. Most everybody in this group, we're really working on our health, trying to eat more healthy, exercise more. We're taking our supplements. We're doing all these things to try and take better care of ourselves, which is good news. But with that good news comes longer life longevity, which I want to live to be at least a centurion. I've said that often. I'm not acting like it right now. I'm still sitting here with my Cheez-Its. And so I got to get busy on that. But who knows what the life expectancy time period is right now for men and women? Who can guess?
Somewhere around 85, I think.
Yeah, 85, 88. I think it's 85 for men and 88 for women. So that just kind of gives you an idea. And, if you've been taking really great care of yourself, you're probably going to extend that out, which is fantastic. And as they continuously get more, what am I trying to say? Technology improves. We're getting better healthcare, all these different things, available to us, eating better foods, then that's probably going to continue to increase.
Yeah, and
So,
that's the big problem is we're outliving our savings.
yes, yes. And so, and for whatever reason, no matter what, people are finding that what once was a whole lot of money, $1 million, for most people, they think, wow, $1 million, that's a lot of money. I can live forever off of that. Well, let's see. Okay, we've already talked about, let's not even count inflation in with the factor. Okay, let's first talk about if you are 50 and you're going to live to be 80. Okay, so let's just say, make it easy, 30 years. How much do you think you want to live on? Okay, let's just say 10 grand a month. 10 grand a month times 12 months is how much? Y'all take your thing off speaker. This is not meant to be a math class. I'm trying to make it easy for you.
120,000.
Okay, 120,000 a year. Somebody take 1 million and divide it by 120,000. And you could probably do that in your head and get a real good guesstimate about how many years that would last.
Probably about 8.
Yes. Okay. So that should show you that is not including inflation. Now, I just showed you that, 3%, 4% could be more is going to be eat up every single year with the cost of goods. So you need to really rethink if you thought that having $1 million is going to do it, that is probably not. Revamp that number. That's the first thing. Next, I want to go into, let's talk about the different things that are available in the marketplace. And there's a method to my madness. One, you've got the government securities, your T-bills, notes, and savings bonds. And basically those are just loans to your government. Okay. Your government is needing loans. So you give them money, you pay less than the face value. When they pay you back, they pay your face value plus the interest. And do you think that would be high risk or low risk? Let's just say this past couple of years don't count, generally speaking.
Lower risk.
It's low risk.
Yes, low risk. Okay, they've never defaulted so far. But with low risk also comes what kind of interest rate?
Low
Low.
interest.
Low interest rate. Very
Low
good.
or negative.
Yes. And I did this. I didn't have a chance to let me find it. I did it back in February. I didn't have a chance to do it before today, but just to give you an idea, in February, a government bond was 1.25%. A T-bill was 0.24%, so 1/4%. A 2-year note to the government was 1.316%. 1%, y'all. That's crazy. All right. So that's the government section. Low risk, low reward. Next, we have the financial institutions, which is the CDs and money market accounts. CDs at that same time was paying about 0.13%. So that means less than 1/4%, barely 1/10%. The savings was 0.06. You might as well say, forget that. Money market accounts, 0.07%. Y'all, those are fractions of 1%. And again, I didn't look today, but we can. But again, these are typically low risk, low reward. Next, you've got the stock market, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. On average, the Standard & Poor 500 has averaged historically about 10% a year. That's not bad. Okay, compared to all the other things, that's not bad. But one of the things that comes along with the stocks, bonds, and mutual funds would be what? Can you guess?
Volatility.
Yes, volatility. And not everybody has the emotional stability to handle all of that stuff. I mean, this week, I bet there's been suicides. I bet there's been all kinds of stuff for people losing money. You don't lose money until you do what?
Until you cash it out.
Yes. So yes, the stock market may be down, but if you don't cash it out, you've not lost the money yet. And so many people get emotional and they just start pulling their money out and going crazy. And then, yep, you've lost your money. So anyways, that is the bit on the stock market. Then we have the crypto and Forex space, which is where a lot of us are in right now, which it is high risk, but it's also high reward. And we have now, several of our projects have been averaging about 3% a week. People don't believe us. They think we're lying, but we can hashtag show them the money, right? That yes, we have been making that kind of money. But again, it's volatile, but you know, it has its place inside our portfolio. Another one is business opportunities. And I love this one because I love supporting entrepreneurs and love what they're doing and to support them on creating their dream. And if you remember right on the Serena Williams graphic that I showed a few weeks ago, all of the things that she was invested in, and some of those were startups. You know, startups can be extremely high risk, but also high reward, especially if some of them do an IPO. We're in the Endotech one, the piece of Daisy, where we got in early and we got a couple of shares in that company. So when they decide to go public, when they get to that place, there's a possibility we could get a really nice payout. And another option would be real estate. And this happens to be one of my absolute favorites. And as far as the real estate market goes, the U.S. had the worst historical fall in 2008 over all times. And the real estate market fell, as best guess that they could say, was 30%. However, it only took them just a couple of years and the real estate market fully rebounded and then some. So even though when you buy a piece of real estate, yes, you could lose money on it, but the chances of you losing down to zero, depending on how you leverage yourself, is really slim next to none, because historically over the long run in the US, it's only ever went down at its worst point 30%. Now a house can burn, a tornado can come, earthquake, hurricane, all of those things. Excuse me. However, there's one thing that we're not making any more of, and what is that? The land that real estate sits on. Yes, land. Very valuable, very valuable. And so one of the things that we need to start looking at, and we've already started the process in September, was we're diversifying our portfolio. So before, where we was primarily in Forex and crypto, in September, we've diversified a little bit and opened up the Comlatech account, which put us then kind of in the stock market, because we're talking options then, okay? And Bruce has a iFlip opportunity through Laurel that I want to look at later once the stock market kind of settles down a little bit and they can get that thing going for us, because then we would truly be doing some really cool stuff in that, which would further diversify us. And so in October, what I would like for us to start looking at would be real estate. And we've already known, you know, previously that this was a direction that we wanted to go in. We can use real estate for a whole lot of different things. But what's interesting is I got in a conversation with Helen the other day, and I found out that Helen had done some really cool stuff. Well, I got to digging around, and raise your hand. Are anybody in here, are you familiar with Grant Cardone, Mr. 10X, the Billionaire Boys Club? Okay. Well, I thought that the only ones that he was accepting right now was accredited investors in his real estate program. Well, that's not so. He's taking a portion of non-accredited as well as accredited. And so in his Cardone Capital group, it's a minimum of $5,000 to get in, and he specializes in multi-family properties, beautiful properties all over, and a lot of them are here in Florida, okay, which I'm tickled to death at. And so you can get in at 5%. What's really cool about his and yes, I'm going to say it up front, he's a big blowhard. He's Mr. Testosterone. That's just who he is. Okay. And if you don't like that, that's just who he is. But he's a genius and he has done it. And he was a drug addict years ago, got off of that, turned his life around. He's got his own private jet. He's a billionaire. So guess what? We need to pay attention to what he's doing. He says that he has never lost money on a deal before. I mean, he has said that 100 times. I don't have any way to back that up, but I have to take him at face value based on what I see. So he is in multifamily properties, and that's an opportunity for us. Another platform that I found was, let me get the name of it here. I think I shared it with you yesterday. And what's cool about them, it's like a crowdfunding platform for real estate investors, short term, the ones who fix and flip. So they need money to go in and rehab and turn around in a short period. When I say short period, it's usually like 3 to 6 months, but the site says up to a year, let's just say. And they have two options. One, they fix and they flip it, they sell it, we get paid back. Or they fix it, rehab, and rent it out, and we get paid back. So what's cool about that platform, it's a short term, and the minimum investment, are you ready, is $10. So you can go in here on this site. Oh my gosh, I was just lost in there for like a couple of hours yesterday looking at all the projects that are available, and they average about 10% a year. So you can go in and play around, and I already did it. I put some money in. Not only did I like it so much, but I bought some shares in their company that they also have on another platform available because I see the potential. I mean, I know right here how many people need money, quick money to rehab, and they need fair money, you know, and it's a loan, and the real estate is securing the loan. So I don't feel bad about that at all. And I sent Livia a message because I told her, I said, man, you need to look at this. There's a ton of properties that they're rehabbing in Jacksonville because Mr. Sue, her husband, recently got his real estate license. And so they're wanting to kind of get into that market. So anyways, I'm excited about that. And so now I want to let Helen take it because she was sharing with me what she has done with another company. And guess where they are? They're in Canada, but they also do some work here in the US. So they would be another contender for us for real estate. So go ahead, Helen.
Sure. So I'm no expert in this, but my experience, I was actually introduced to the group by Kate. They're called BG Wealth, and they operate out of Ontario. What I liked about their approach for real estate investing is I had some cash from the sale of a house and just wanted something to do with it kind of short term. So they will take investments for years and they will pay you out on a monthly basis or an annual basis, or you can reinvest your money, but they also look at short term investments similar to what Nancy was talking about for the rehab market or the reno market. What I like about their approach is they go into a town, so a community. For example, they've had some projects in Detroit. They've had some projects in, trying to think, Thunder Bay, I think, or Owen Sound in Ontario. Owen Sound. And another spot that I can't think of, but they work with the community. So they're not just buying a property and fixing it up to rent. They're looking at working with the BIA or the Chamber of Commerce or the municipality. They'll fix up like a whole street front, stores, apartments, everything. And then they'll either sell them or they'll hold on to them and use that rent to then fund other properties. So I love the idea that it's almost philanthropic in spirit of what they're doing, because they're rehabbing a community and working with people within that community. And then they make the decision to either sell or hold those properties for rentals. And then they'll move into another area and do the same thing to help rehab a whole town. So as I mentioned, Detroit, they had experience working in a particular area there where they did some rehab and some investing work. What I have found with them is that, again, it's not a guarantee, nothing's a guarantee, but since they have been in business, they pay 16% a year on your investments. Sometimes better, depending on the project that you have invested in, if you've done a specific investment, and they have a couple of different ways to get involved. So I just did a general investment that was going into some property development, and I only let them hold on to my money for about 6 months. And I made over 8% in 6 months on the money that I had left with them for investment. So that's another interesting approach to real estate, is kind of like a community development project as well.
Your investment is actually, they do guarantee what your return is going to be when you give them that money for a limited time period, or at least they used to. If they changed that now?
So, well, I was going to say, I felt like they told me it was guaranteed, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to tell that to this group because I wasn't sure how that worked exactly. But
Yeah.
I do think that they committed to a 16% return.
Yeah, because it's a short-term investment, then they put an incentive in it so that that's what you're getting.
Yeah. So it worked
So-
very well. So thanks for that referral, Kate.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yes, and that's the part of it that I also loved as well, because we all know areas in our town or towns around us or whatever that are struggling and look terrible. So for somebody to be able to go in there and do that, is fantastic. And one of the things also, and most of y'all know I'm kind of anti getting into debt. However, on the Grant Cardone, 1 second, Claudia, I'll let you have the piece. But, he's into this, and, you give 1,000 and actually we're going to have 4 times that in equity, because he uses debt, to leverage all of his properties. And so that's something else to keep in mind. And I'm going to show you a couple of these here in just a second. Go ahead, Claudio.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to, I guess you can call it a testimonial, but I've also been with BG Wealth for about 8 years. I bought houses in Detroit. The nice thing I liked about them is you can either invest the money and yeah, they do guarantee the 16% because you're buying into a mortgage fund. They're actually lending out money and they're guaranteeing you that 16%. Or you can buy into a portfolio for the properties and then you start collecting dividends. And the nice thing about it is I bought into Detroit because it was an awesome deal at the time. There was a lot of growth, and the appreciation on the homes was ridiculous at the time. Once it started to settle down and they started looking at Owen Sound, first of all, they do huge amounts of research before they'll go into another project. I was able to move my money from Detroit into Owen Sound without actually having to sell the properties, because you're buying into the LLC company, and they'll just transfer your money from one area to another. So there's a lot of flexibility there. Craig and Rory, which runs the division, they're just incredible to deal with.
Well, thank you for mentioning that. They sent me an email this morning. I haven't had time to go in there and look because I wanted to, have a meeting with them to kind of see how we could set this up. Because again, I feel like sometimes because I'm here in the US, I'm always promoting stuff that's inside the US. And I know we do have a constituency, a large one there in Canada. And so I want to, be equal opportunity employer. And Jock, I'm going to give you the map here in just a minute for you to say what you was wanting to say. And historically real estate does what? Appreciate or depreciate?
Appreciate more than the stock
Typically,
market.
yes, typically it appreciates. So if you use a little piece of debt or whatever, the value's going up, and thanks to our, the tax code, we're able to write off depreciating and other expenses when it comes to that. Well, our group, we don't have enough money right now to leverage to go out and buy property, which y'all know I want to do vacation property because that's my area of expertise. So until we get to that point, these are some opportunities that, in my opinion, and you can tell me if you think I'm wrong, I mean, it's a no-brainer. We could be into multifamily apartment complexes all over for $5,000. We could help rehabbers and grants is a long term. And that would pay us over, let's just say 5-10 years. That's what I'm saying. You know, you give them the money and then it's just a consistent drip of income, which we love because we can use that to reinvest, you know, into other projects. So grants program would be a long term. These would be a more short-term option that we could use. And she said, I believe you said, and I did see it on the website, US or Canada, so I could still do it for the group, you know, if we decided that this is where we wanted to do, which, you know, I'm really think the last quarter we should really focus on that. Go ahead, Jock.
You mean about the thing I put in the chat?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, just that residential real estate is done solely on comparables, but commercial, which, as I think Capri said, is what you think of as commercial, but also residential that's anything over 4 units, is based somewhat on comparables, but to a large extent on cash flow. And so you can take a property that's underperforming and fix it up or get more tenants in if there are a lot of vacancies, and increase the cash flow and dramatically increase the value.
Yes, and it you don't have to have, you know, credit usually. I mean, because it's a business, and so it's run like a business. And Bruce, while you got your hand up, I believe it was you and I was talking about how they had increased rents up in one of, I think it was it Laurel's? Go ahead and share that. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, it's one of the things that you mentioned about, you know, Grant Cardone having allowing non-accredited investors. That's one of the things a lot of within Laurel Langmeyer's Big Table group, they have different opportunities that it's a fund, and they allow a certain percentage or number of non-accredited investors, and it goes into the fund for that project. And that's actually how I got involved with one of the fellows, the developer in the Kansas City area, and initially did a loan that converted it into equity in his company. So now all of his properties that the company buys and, you know, rehabs and that, says I'll get quarterly dividends. But what the way they do it, they only do apartment complexes, and they look for the way the apartments are classified, the class of property. Like the top of the line is, I think, the class A, and then lower performing is class B and that. So they look for like a class C property where the owner, they're wanting to get out of it. There's like, they just, you know, technically kind of want to retire and just get out of their property. So they look for a class C that has opportunities of just making some minor changes to bring it up to a class B or a class A. And one of the things that they found, that was a real simple thing. One property, they had one of the apartments they were just using for storage. They weren't even, they weren't generating any revenue. And they actually had, then there was another one that was an on-site manager. Well, they have a management company, so they don't need an on-site manager. So they flipped, they upgraded the storage, the one that was being used for storage, and then also upgraded what was the on-site manager's unit, and flipped those and turned those into revenue generating units. So that's part of what Jacques was just saying. This is the part of the class of property is how much revenue they're bringing in. So they, you know, that's some of the quick stuff, but then just other little things around there to spruce up the property and get creative on how they can serve the tenants and up the rent. So it's just a lot of different ways that you can get creative on that. So, yeah.
One of the things, my daughter's apartment complex, before she got married, that she was living in, they came through and got bought out. So they did a bunch of upgrades. And one of the things that they did was they put in a dog area for the tenants, where before they wasn't allowed, but they had a little dog area. And so for those, guess what? They got to increase the price and the revenue coming in for that. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then another thing, and then we'll get started on the personal business side of the discussion, was I was over there with Wayne last week. And one of the things we was talking about is different ways to increase revenue. And most of y'all have heard me talk about, I have a Harley and not been able to ride it. And my husband's kind of getting whatever. And, you know, he don't want to be on the back of me riding it because, you know, that's not manly. And so we've been talking about getting a trike. And I really like this. There's some really cool trikes that I like, but I really love this little slingshot that I went and test drove last year. Okay. And y'all probably seen me posting pictures or a video of that. And so I mentioned that to Wayne, and he said, you know what? He said, that's funny you mentioned that, because I checked into the price of that. And he said, how cool would that be if I bought one of those and I had it here available for everybody, for them when they rent, that could be an add-on feature. And he done the price, and he figured out, you know, he's putting a lot of money in Novatech. So he said, I've already run the numbers through Novatech, and I could do this, and it would more than pay for that payment, you know, and pay for it. So that was one thing. Another thing that he did down here, which a lot of us are doing, is offering, there's service that you can get where ahead of time, where you can send your groceries in and we'll already have them stocked in your fridge and in your pantry. That way you don't have to spend your time going shopping. Because, you know, I know when Laura came down here, me and her, I picked her up from the airport and we went straight to Whole Foods, and we spent some time in there getting her groceries and all of that stuff, because she didn't have a vehicle till her husband got down there. And so he can do a couple of meals, or he can do breakfast, or, you know, there's some different things that he's got that is extra, you know, for a little extra add-on cost, and that increases your bottom line, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that this fellow did on one of their buildings that was kind of in a nicer part of town. They offered valet garbage service.
Oh yeah,
They
I forgot
just,
about that.
people don't have to take out their trash. They just put their bag outside their door and someone comes by and picks it up for them. Well, they pay a certain fee for that every month. So, I mean, just different, you know.
And, you know, here's the deal.
They do that in campgrounds for free.
So, you know, some of us were laughing, you know, about that. But and I'm just going to tell you, my daughter, when she's a single mom, she's running out of the house trying to get the kids, and you know, everything is kind of crazy and all of that stuff. So I can see her. She would have paid for that service. Just throw the trash outside the door and go, you know, and then they take it and put it to wherever it is.
The other thing is paying someone to come in and check on your pet while you're on vacation, or, you know, wherever.
Yes. And to be able to have pets in there, because that's a big thing down here. Oh, I don't think, let's see here. All right, this is Grant's website. And here's some of the properties, just to give you an idea. Now it will say, if you look in the green right there, it says Fund 20 and non-accredited. Okay, so not all of them are available for non-accredited. Now, one thing I've got to ask about is business. So if I did this as a business, you know, would my amounts be listed? Because that's an option. But I just kind of wanted to kind of show you some of these beautiful opportunities that are available there.
And you realize if you invest through a self-directed IRA, it's tax-free. You don't have to.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. I was just speaking, you know, generally like through the pig fund, but yes, absolutely.
It's tax deferred, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a little thing up there. They're doing a big promotion for that right now. I was sad to see this one right here, Panama City Beach, was not available for non-accredited, because that's right here beside me. So, you know, I was thinking, I could go down there and take a look and see what that sucker looks like. But anyways, you click on it, and this is what it tells you: 288 total units. The internal rate of return, they're expecting 18%, and the target equity, you could get 2.5 to 3 times your money back. That's what that means. And here's, you know, they're all a little bit different.
And that's how long term does it say?
This is long, these are long term. You know, you're talking 5-10 years. You put your money in and you get, you know, a monthly or a quarterly pay.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, depending on situation, I kind of prefer the shorter
Yes.
term, because you get a little bit higher rate too sometimes, depending on, because we've got people in our big table group that they buy and flip properties, so they're always looking for someone to fund for, you know, 10% of over the, you know, 6-month period or whatever.
Well, what I was thinking about for this one for grants is just a long-term steady passive income. You know what I'm saying? A real set it and forget it. We put some money in and we know we can kind of count on that every month or every quarter. Here's the other one, ground floor. And I was telling you, they've got each of these listed. Now this is their grade, A through, I forget what it goes to. That's telling you how risky that they feel, their underwriters feel that is. Here's the rates that they charge, you know, that they've charged, and it goes up or down. Let's see if I can get.
Is that the return on investment, or is no?
No, this I believe is this is what they're charging them. So see how this is a higher risk. These are higher risk projects. I just kind of wanted to see how high they went. So you can see they're charging some big bucks for the higher risk ones. This is the term, the valuation, how many investors they have right now.
No, when you're saying charging, and to me, that's what the return
The
would
loan,
be.
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, and then here you've got so far, this is what they're trying to raise. This is how much that they've looks like how much they have left to get that amount. And the minimum amount is $10. Let me see if I can get.
Makes me wonder on those type of things, though. This is because, I mean, I've gotten burned big time on getting into a fund that I thought was protected with, you know, mortgage, and turned out it wasn't written the way I thought, and I foolishly didn't double and triple check everything, and I was not a first position mortgage holder.
These are all first position. I
Yeah.
went through all the fine print.
Yeah.
These are all first position. And what happens is the second that you put your $10 in, let's just say, that's your timer starts. So even if they don't, which so far they've not had any that's not been funded, sometimes the business will come in and finish funding it, because they give them the loan up front and then they put the deal together and put it on here. And we are just basically replenishing their capital so that they can continue give loans. And so you are in a first position, but let's just say that one didn't fund, then they will refund your money back into your account plus the interest that you were promised that you've missed out on. Yeah. And so you can just reinvest it in another project if you want, or whatever.
And what was the term of the note, length of time on typically on those, are like less than a year or something, that seemed like.
Oh yeah. It was, they're like, let me see here.
Because I know that's the ones within our big table, they try to pay them out within 3 to 6 months, but all of the notes, they pretty much standard, they always say 12 months.
Yes, that's what this is. They like them to be paid in 3 to 6 months, but give a little grace there, and if they have to extend, they will, but they want them to be done less than a year. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything before we move on to the personal section here?
Yeah, I just want to pipe up here and express something personally. I joined a real estate club back in 2009 with a guy here, and I'll just say in the GTA, and some of you may know him, but I'm not going to identify him. Many of us, he bought a number of houses on auction. And then we each put in a certain amount of money. So this amount for one house, if we wanted two houses, we double our investment. It turns out that company was bought out and we all lost our investments. So there were dozens of us. We all lost our houses. This was in just outside Detroit. So why am I telling you this? Because I think if you've been burnt, and I'm not a great, I don't have a lot of experience in real estate. So I think if you've been burnt in real estate, then you want to tread or just go into it sort of, I guess, cautiously. That's just my experience. I don't know if anybody else.
And this particular company, the one that I showed you, well, Grant Cardone's track record speaks for itself, so I don't have to worry about that. This one, they've also been going, and I have a little, I'm going to put it on the website. They have like a pitch deck to kind of show you how many years they've been in business. And so now they attract a lot of venture capitalists that use this platform, and to make some money. So they've got a really solid, rock solid board and executives that are running everything. And again, they've raised a couple of rounds of capital, and they're in the middle of doing this again, evidently. And, we never know, but they're saying for whatever this technology is, how they've put this together, they're the first ones to be able to do it. So they've had to spend the money to do all the groundwork, to get all the government regulation and all that. And of course, everybody's going to piggyback off of them, I'm sure, and there'll be others to follow suit. And there are several, but this one was really, I thought, put together well, and all the information is there. I mean, you can click, you can ask them. I sent support a question. They sent me something right back immediately. So I know that piece of it is working. And
Yeah,
for
it sure
$10,
it looks like a really,
yeah, like I said, it starts
platform.
A through, I don't remember,
Well,
J or whatever.
plus being able to get in at a relatively low risk, low amount.
Yeah. I mean, $10, I own a piece of 100 properties. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And Grant Cardone, we own a piece of
But
that.
this one of the things that
No headaches of landlord duties.
Yeah, but one of the things that I mentioned before, just in our any of our pig investments and that come up, everybody needs to have their money rules for any investment, and that includes this type of thing where you're going into a real estate investment group of any kind, anything, so that you look at what rate of return is, what's the minimum rate of return that you want in order to get involved in, and what's the term of the contract, and the length, and the everything else and stuff, so that when different opportunities like Nancy's presenting, you can immediately compare it to your personal money rules and see if that fits.
And one of the things that I'm going to bring up with that, for example, in the Forex and cryptocurrency exchange, based on our experience now, almost 2 years, everybody in here can say it at the same time. What's a good weekly average that we can expect on our money? Just an average. What is it?
3%.
Yeah.
3%.
We know that now, right? We would never know it had we not had firsthand experience. Somebody could have told us that, and we would have told them they was crazy. That would be not possible. Well, we've been doing it now for so long that, okay, we've learned that now. So now we can kind of gauge all the other platforms when they're saying what we're getting. Is that good or is it not? Do we want to try it or do we not? Again, also the risk factor. And then, you know, like Automated Capital is in a drawdown right now, and I've got 3 trades stuck in carbon, and I've got to learn how to get those taken care of. But anyway, these are all, that's what we are. We're an educational company. We're earning as we're learning, right? And one thing that I forgot to go over, one category when we were talking about the investments before we get started here, and I'll try and make it quick, was I didn't discuss gold and silver. Gold and silver and commodities is another opportunity. And I did look that up today just to give you an idea on how that was going. Today, gold is down 1.58%, 30 days down 4.77%, in 6 months down 14.63%, 1 year down 4.44%. Now, we're not hearing all that from people, but anyways, however, 5-year, we're up 28%, and 20 years, we're up 412.67%. So in the long run, historically, gold has been a really great thing to kind of go against inflation. However, what is and I'm going to do silver just a second, and then I'll let you speak, Kate.
Okay.
What's the problem with gold, y'all? Gold and
It's
silver.
hard to carry around.
You better believe it, because it's heavy. It's heavy, right? What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that? And then for silver, down 4.22% today, up 2.47 over 30 days, but 6 months down 23.11, 1 year down 12.27, 5 years up 15.33, 20 years up looks like 32.537. And I need to check and make sure I didn't forget my decimal point on that. But anyways, so that was something that I forgot. Go ahead, Kate.
It's really a good time to buy silver.
Yes.
It's really being held down. That video that I shared with you the other day, I mean, I'm happy to share it with anybody else that would like it. Mark Moss actually went through a whole massive amount of detail as far as they're keeping the lid on that. I mean, silver and gold are so undervalued right now. So from a long-term perspective, it's a really good investment strategy. The difficulty is that they don't advertise either, is getting silver or gold right now is very hard. The stores they've been bought up. So you know that they've been suppressing information. They've been suppressing what it is that the value of it is. So when it breaks, it's going to be massive. So he mentioned one way you can get in where it's not limited, and he talked about a specific company. Now you can look it up and start to do the research yourself on it. It's called Silver Mountain. There's been massive investment. So, and he goes through the numbers and explains each one of the numbers and why this is actually an extremely good investment. And right now you can get 17 cents a share. So I can share that video. I can just pop it in and I'll send it through Messenger for anybody that wants to have it. And you can have a listen to it. He's really, really good to listen to. He's not a happy guy. He's kind of sounds a bit like a doom and gloom guy, but here's the numbers. Here's the geopolitical positions as to what's happening in the world. This is why it's good, bad, or ugly.
Thank you.
So.
And that's something that, they're keeping quiet. Also, I've learned through some of the stuff that I've been listening to, some of the training is a lot of the banks all over the world, they're stockpiling gold. They're not saying anything about it. They're buying gold. And, that's always a big sign. Well, let's take the last couple of minutes and let's talk about our businesses and how we can really recession proof your business. One of the things, obviously, you do the multiple streams of income for your life, but you also need multiple streams of income for your business. Other things that you can do is make sure that you have some evergreen products and services available. And then think about, and then I want us to have an open discussion here. Think about your own business. When prices go up, is your business services going to be needed more or less? That would be the first question that you need to identify. And then how will you handle that if it's up? And then how will you handle that if it's down? And if it's down, what are some things that you can do to minimize that risk exposure and maybe get into some, add some things that would not be affected by that. Make sense? So let's, anybody, would you like to share on your particular business? Anybody?
Nancy?
Yes, go
Hi.
ahead.
So for me, when prices in general are up, any amount of savings that I could help somebody enjoy is a good thing for them. And I in my own mind, I think regardless of how high prices are or how low they are, everybody likes to feel like they're getting a little bit of a better edge on saving money than somebody else. Yeah, everybody likes to feel they're getting a deal or likes to think they've got the inside track on something, regardless of whether it's high or low.
And I think you have, your model, you're correct. I think it probably would be better. I mean, you would probably have more in tough times than you would in regular times, but you still have a good, solid market there. The only thing that I can think of is, again, continuously looking for opportunities that you can add to the value added service, to that. Anybody have anything that they would like to share with Jerry on his business where they think that he could fight inflation a little bit? Or do you feel the same way that we perceive that? What are y'all thinking? Y'all unmute yourself.
I think just in general, no matter what the actual cost of a service, people are going to buy if they perceive high value for them on whatever the product or service is that you offer. So however you bundle it or market it, it's you need to portray the value that they're going to get.
Yeah, it's interesting. I always live by the model that the cheapest price is not always the best price. And the best price always comes with the intrinsic value. To your point, Bruce. Yep.
Now with Barry, I'm sitting here thinking out loud. Barry has kind of a unique company in that one of the things that I see for Melaleuca is, although some people might perceive it to be more expensive, they don't realize how long those products last, the extent, because you use such a small amount compared to the regular store-bought amounts. Would you agree on that, Barry? Or anybody
Absolutely.
else
And
who uses Melaleuca?
yeah, not only that, but in the past 2.5 years during the COVID era, the conglomerates have raised prices to the end users somewhere between 26 to 30%, where in the last 10 years, our prices haven't changed, but about 5% on average. So as the manufacturer inside the United States, we can control that. And that's part of our integrity, which you've heard me talk about before. So thanks for saying that, Nancy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, one of the things is, as we go into this market of the slowdown, in one of your wonderful letters that you send out to your clients, you do a fantastic job on those. That might be something that you start trickling little bits and pieces to educate us on that company thing, because if times do get tough, then they need to understand that value. So I think that would be something really good that you could add to over the next few months, because I'm thinking, like I said, for many people, it's going to be getting tough for
Well,
some.
one of the other things to keep in mind too is we hear it all the time about the supply chain.
Yes.
This is all the supply chain issues and that. This is, and just recently a potential freight train strike was averted. And most people don't realize the significance if that had happened. Everything travels across country by train for the most part until they get to another distribution point where it transfers to trucks and everything. But I mean, just the products coming across overseas. I mean, does your company rely on something that's coming across the ocean, cross country? How would you handle a breakdown in the supply chain? Yeah.
Yes. And it was I had a lot of people contacting me over that, worried to death. I've got stores here in Destin and that are in my association and everything, that they have not been able to get their product, because it's coming over. And I go into my Walmart store and a lot of the times the shelves are quite empty, to be frank with you.
Yeah.
And I know that's because it's the supply chain issue.
Well, yes and no. I've recently discovered that because I had some people that actually asked some of the employees at Walmarts that had empty shelves. I says, "Oh, are you out?" Says, "No." Says, "We're fully stocked in the warehouse, but we've been told not to restock." They're doing it on purpose to put in the lack of supply so that they can jack up the prices.
Wow.
So it's all manipulation. A lot of this is manipulating the consumer, and that's one of the other things. But the other thing I was going to say is, if you can add in virtual or digital products and services, you won't be impacted by the supply chain. So that's part of the just keeping in mind, how can you diversify your business for products and services?
Oh, before I go to the next one, Jock, I want to give you a chance on this one, but another product that I saw that was super cool, and it kind of is going in with all of this, and I found it on that crowdfunding site, was for people who are gardening. This guy come up with this one of those weed proof, I forget what they're called now, I don't know, because we garden here at my house all the time. My husband's like a master gardener. Anyways, it's you put it down and the weeds can't go through it. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? It's a special kind of material.
Yeah, weed block stuff.
Yeah, weed block. Okay. Well, this company came up with an idea, and this guy was an engineer, that people want to garden. And I think it was like 77% of Americans had some sort of garden during the pandemic. And that was up, and it was like a crazy number. But anyways, he came up with the seed program where he put these seeds, embedded them into that piece of material, and you can order a spring garden, you could order a fall garden, you could order a sun garden. It's ingenious, and he's raising money. It was on Shark Tank. It's been on like all of the Good Morning America, all of that stuff. And when you get it in, you just like do it out like a sheet, and you put it on top of your raised bed and you water it. And the engineering portion is they've got them spaced perfectly for whatever the seeds that you've ordered that's embedded in there. And it was the coolest thing. Now it's about $99, and I forget how many seeds are in there. But anyways, I thought, there you go. He's trying to make gardening easy for everybody. And especially this is, a great thing for people. I don't know how long those seeds would last, but you could put it away. And if you needed it, I don't know how long it would last, but I just thought that was a pretty cool something. But anyways, Jock, your business, okay, might be something that people might think, yeah, I don't really need this. Well, in hard times, in my opinion, that's when you really need to make sure that you have your services. Would you agree? And what are some things that you're thinking?
Yeah, I agree. Most people cut back, and they cut back marketing in tough times, which is, like you say, the opposite of what you typically should be doing. So that's, and a lot of times the people go out of business during the bad times. And if you set a good foundation, that's when you really grow coming out of it.
Yes. And I think there's been a lot, and there's been a lot in this group, and even me. I mean, we have pivoted, since 2.5 years ago when we first started getting together. I mean, it's amazing how we've changed and evolved, and each one of you, how your business has grown, and we've learned a lot. And that's what we have to continuously be flexible and nimble when we need to be. And don't be so stubborn about changing things if something is not working or it's not working as good as what it should be. We really need to be open for that. And then Claudio, for yours, it goes without saying, past 2.5 years, pandemic or not, man, your business has skyrocketed. And so, tough times, bad times, you've added a couple of platforms, which is good. That gives people some options again. And, like for one of the things that I hear from me personally, just like in our pig group, is they're scared of Forex and crypto. Or, I'm a Christian, and a lot of my people worry to death that, they're it's signs of the times. Well, the signs of the times are coming, no matter what, you're not going to stop it. So anyways, might as well embrace it and do something that you can positive. And so, I'm forward thinking as well on the diversification strategy that would be more inclusive to more people, because granted, not everybody does want to be in crypto and that, but you don't have to be. You just be part of our group and just be able to profit off of it. And you don't have to learn it, like you said. What are your thoughts?
Well, I always tell people the same thing. You're not investing in crypto and Forex. You're investing in actually, we're not even really investing. The company is trading in those platforms, but we have nothing to do with it. The only reason why we get involved with the crypto is simply to transfer money back and forth in and out of the company. A lot of people are afraid because they feel they need to learn about it. They're worried that there's volatility, but it doesn't matter what happens with the value of the crypto and the regular currencies, because all they're doing is trading one against each other. So they're making money on the rise and on the fall of the prices.
And that's one thing that I want to share also, that I had this discussion with my husband. He's one of them that freaks out. He looks on there, and I thought it was doing him a great favor by giving him Bitcoin for him to play around to look at all the time. But he's one of them that looks at the market 24/7 and, oh, it went up. Oh, it went down. Oh, it did this, all that stuff. But anyways, one of the things that I told him is, as long as we don't have a global currency and that we have all these different currencies, Forex is going to be here in some shape, form, or fashion. We all have to deal in foreign currency, whether it's the US dollar, whether it's Canadian dollar, we go down to Mexico, we go to Europe, whatever the thing is, we're going to be dealing in that. And that's going to be a market that's going to be here for quite some time. We don't know what it's going to look like. And that's what we have to keep our fingers on the pulse of what's going on. And I am excited about the crypto and the Forex markets. And Sophia, I was going to give you a chance, and thank you for the referral. Your gal is going to be our guest speaker next week. I didn't tell anybody what it is or whatever, but anyway, I met with her yesterday. Thank you for the referral.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question about the thing that you were talking about for the real estate. And the investment and what you invested in. I wanted to know about where I could find the information for that or anything.
Okay. With the Cardone Capital, that one, cardonecapital.com. Is that what you're talking about? Grants program?
I don't know. You had mentioned that you had went and checked out the website and you even had invested and all of those things. So
yes, I'll send you those links when we get off of here. I showed you, probably wasn't on here. I showed a couple of the websites. I showed grants. I'll send all three of those. As a matter of fact, I'll put all three of those links in our pig group. How about that? And then y'all can take a look if I didn't. I don't remember if I did or not. Yes.
And do we need to wait for you for an affiliate link or something like that before we make a decision about investing?
Yes, I have an affiliate link for the I keep on wanting to say Fundrise because that's another one, but that's not the one that I got the affiliate link for. Let's see here. Hang on just a second. For the ground floor, I think that's the one that I did get an affiliate link. I didn't see one for grant stuff yet. I'm sure there is one, but good grief. Hang on. Copy link. There it is.
Nancy, I have to run. This is Capri, but will you email out when the next meeting is?
It's every Friday, the same time, 11:30 to 1.
Okay.
And you can
Jock,
register. Yeah, go ahead.
Jock put in the comments that it might be Tuesday.
No, we're not doing Tuesdays anymore, Jock. We have changed everything. You might not have got that email. Need to make sure that you're getting them, but we've got everything on Fridays now. That allows me to do on the Tuesdays, do some of this other stuff that I've been doing so that I can bring y'all everything on Friday.
Yeah, we're just changing what we do on the different Fridays. So that's
Yes,
how we changed.
yes, yeah. The first Friday is networking collaborations. The second one is the mastermind. They're still on the same week. I've just moved them to Fridays. So everything we was doing, and the pig group is the third Friday, and the personal and professional development is the fourth Friday. Yes, Sophia.
Are we gonna be doing the one real estate as a group and then separately if we'd like to?
Yes, yes. And I posted also on the September projects, what we're looking like. That one is funded. Those 3 projects are funded by individuals, by prepaid dues, and by Novatech earnings from the pig, and Novatech earnings by the co-op. Now we're still about $1,300 short to finish up. So I'm waiting. I'm hoping to hear back from somebody this weekend. One of our members had a financial emergency and they had pledged $1,100 and wasn't able to come through on that. So that, with the expenses and the trading view and all of that stuff, I believe it was about $1,300 that I'm short. So we still have to get that funded. And then once we get that funded, we'll be starting with October, which will be the real estate. And we can, probably, like you said, the little $10 ones to start off with, and not jump right into grants until we have enough, money sitting there that we can do it. Cause his is a $5,000 minimum, but the other ones, we can go through there and pick and choose in $10 increments. So if we had, $1,000, we could be in 10 different ones. It's a little bit of money, but still we could do it.
One thing to keep in mind with the Grant Cardone one, because it is such a long-term investment, really
That might be an individual, like
right.
everybody come in as an individual instead of us using it as like our dues or something like that. That's
Right,
kind of what I'm
because
thinking.
if people want to drop out as member and stuff, how does that work for them to get? It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it more of a challenge. So
Yes, you're exactly right. Anything else? All right. I'll see y'all next week, and we've got a guest speaker.
Save your chat.
Y'all have a great weekend.
You too, Nancy.
Thank you, everybody.